Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes weekly webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sarah. Today, I'm excited to show you two beautiful washi tape collections from our friends at Leebee. We have Rose Reverie and Bee Garden. Now, each set is full of coordinating washi tapes that can be used individually or combined to create borders, backgrounds, and accents. So let's have a look at each set and then we can explore some techniques. We can start with the Rose Reverie collection. Now you can see here you've got a nice sturdy box for storing all of these together too. And this set contains 20 rolls of pattern tape in a variety of widths. So I've put them actually onto 2 sheets of plain white cardstock so that you can see these designs here. So some are going to be a little bit wider, some are narrower. You've got a variety of different patterns on here, really beautiful color combinations. Some will have words. Most are an all over repeating pattern. Each roll will measure 3 meters long or a bit over 9 feet long. Then coming back to our Bee Garden collection, another nice sturdy little storage case here. In this set, you've also got a sheet with swatches of each of those designs, but I've put them onto 2 sheets so that we can take a closer look at each of these as well. So this collection contains 14 rolls with a floral and bumblebee theme, and also includes a variety of colors and widths. Now both sets are a terrific value and they work beautifully for card making, as we will see today. I'm really glad you're here and I'm so excited to explore the creative possibilities with you. So come play with us. Let's begin with this simple card, which features one of the easiest ways to use washi tape, which is to simply place it as a border. So let's first talk about washi tapes in general and what makes them so special. They are one of my favorite paper crafting materials. Washi tape is a decorative tape. It's slightly translucent and you can cut it, you can tear it, and you can die cut it too. So because of its translucency, you can really play with the type of paper you place it on. So for example, adhering washi tape to white paper will brighten the design and the color. Layering it onto darker paper will mute back that pattern. And I think this is a really nice way of seeing the difference between those. So I've just simply positioned a strip of washi tape across both white and black cardstock. And I think you can really see, especially with this design here, how bright that black detailing is versus here where it's a bit more muted back. This design also, you've almost got those butterflies standing out and the rest of the background is fading into that black, but here they really stand out. So you can create some really interesting and different designs just depending on the darkness or lightness of the material that you're adhering your washi tape onto. Now washi tape is also repositionable, so if you place your tape down in an area and you change your mind, you can get it back up pretty easily. So here I've simply used a strip of the black and white floral from the Roses collection as a border, separating the pattern paper and the die cut edge of my card. So I'm going to open up my card and you can see 2 different ways I've used this beautiful lace die cut element. So let me show you the die that I'm working with here. This is the On the Edge cutting die set. I really like this one. This is a great value. You've got 4 different dies included here, and they are each 6 inches long and they vary in width. And you can use these in lots of different ways. So let me show you the die here. This is the one that I've used. Beautiful, intricate design. Now, when you die cut your shapes, you will be still getting a long edge here. So this will die cut everything except for this straight edge, which means that if you want to create just a decorative edge on your card, what you can do is simply take your card, your blank white card, and position your die here along the edge, secure it down with some low tack tape, and then open up your card and send it through your die cutting machine. And that's going to give you the effect that I have here on my card front, where that design is only cut through the front flap of that card. You can also, of course, cut out each of those borders individually, just using your paper trimmer to trim along that straight edge there. And again, with 4 different designs, you've got a lot of versatility with that die set. And I will also point out with the butterfly border, you can also lift up some of those butterfly wings so that you get something that's a little bit more dimensional. But this is one of my very favorite die sets. Now coming back to my card, I've die cut my border here. I've added my strip of washi tape, just trimming off the edges evenly with the edges of my card. And then I've got this beautiful pattern paper placed up at the front. This paper is from the Flower Queen paper pack, and it really makes use of the border that's printed on the paper. So let me show you the paper pack here. This is the design that I'm working with, and this is the 12 by 12 set. So really beautiful papers that matched with a lot of our washi tapes in today's webisode. Then I've got 2 chipboard pieces here. Now these are also from the Flower Queen collection, and this is from the Flower Queen chipboard set. And the set looks like this. So you've got this beautiful collection of floral elements and some botanicals here. There are 23 chipboard pieces. They just pop right out of that backing sheet. And of course, you've got a project idea here on the back. Now, these work beautifully with coloring mediums, as you can see that Debbie's done here on the back of the card. I also really like this beautiful neutral tone though. And you can also use front or back side here. So I've just simply taken 2 of those elements. I haven't done any coloring on them, and then glued down the botanical, the leaves here, and then added this floral piece with a little bit of foam tape here behind on this section so that it creates a nice even effect here when it's slightly overlapping the botanical. I have a jute twine bow tied in here for a little bit of softness, and then I've got the Sending Smiles Dazzle sticker. This is placed right on top of that washi tape. Then for the inside of my card, I have another washi tape border positioned above a second die cut edge, and then the Dazzles message from the Grateful Thankful set. Our next card shows another way I love to use washi tapes, and that's with cutting dies. So here I have a combination of 4 strips of tape from the Bee Garden set, and I've simply applied them onto white cardstock, evenly spaced. There's a little tiny bit of white showing in between each of those strips of tape. And then I've die cut the entire piece into a rectangle using the 12 rectangle and scallop dies. This is a favorite set of mine and one that really comes in handy for creating a focal element like this. So the great thing is that you can easily die cut through washi tape and it will not gum up your dies. But of course, you first want to adhere the tape to cardstock before die cutting. So here you can see my strips that I've got on here. All I need to do then is just grab my cutting die, position this down in place, and then I use some of the hunky-dory low-tack tape to secure that down and run it through my die cutting machine. And then from here, I've layered it up on top of a scalloped nested rectangle. And then we've got some additional layers here too. Now the pattern paper that I'm using on here is from the Wildflowers and Wildlife paper pack. I'll show you this quickly here. So this beautiful palette that you can see on here. And I'm using a variety of different designs from that set. I've added the Hello Dazzle on here. This is from the Script Dazzles collection, another favorite of mine. And I have a little bow tied in 1/8 inch ribbon, and that's just completing the design here on the front. So the entire front portion of my card, you'll notice, is this really fun scallop design. And this is another great way to use those rectangle and scallop cutting dies. And I'm actually going to bring in our pattern paper here just so that you can see this white card a little bit better. So I'm just adding this here for contrast. So I have my 5 by 6.5 inch blank white card. I'm going to fold this. It's pre-scored, so I just need to fold that. May want to grab a bone folder and score that up. And then I take my scalloped cutting die, and I'm using the largest scallop design here. Position this so that I've got the top portion of this going beyond the folded flap of my card blank. So my fold is up here, the open end is down here. Again, secure it in place with some of that low tack tape. Run it through my die cutting machine, and of course I'm going through both layers of my card. And then that's going to give me this really fun scalloped design. But of course I've got my straight fold up here, so I've got the scallops going on 3 sides there, and I think it creates a nice frame for all of my other scalloped edges here on the front of my card. And then on the card inside, I have another series of die cut rectangles. I have a Sending Smiles Dazzle message and a heart from that same sticker sheet. Before we move on to our third card, I did just want to talk for a second about the dazzles that I'm using in today's webisode. So I'd mentioned the Sending Smiles, the Grateful Thankful, and the Script Dazzle Sentiment. These are 3 of my all-time favorites, and I use them for so many different cards and so many different card giving occasions. I love that you've got a variety of sizes. You've also got some beautiful classic script on here. It's easy to read, which is also really important, and you've got a nice assortment of messages on here. I also really like, with all of these, not only are you getting the sentiments, I'll turn this one here so that you can see those different messages that are on here. You've got your script, you've also got some small accent pieces. So you've got some little hearts tucked in through here, some little flowers and hearts on the Sending Smiles. So this is just a really nice way of adding a special message to any of your cards. And although I've just pulled the silver versions of these 3 sets here, they do come in a variety of other finishes. For example, I'm using the gold Sending Smiles down here at the bottom of my card. Now with this card, I wanted to share with you too that you can also die cut more intricate shapes with washi covered cardstock. So in this case, I've die cut several flowers from the Wind Flowers set, and I started by adhering several strips of tape to white cardstock, and then I die cut both the top and bottom of the flowers from contrasting pieces. So let me show you this here. I'm using some of the Bee washi tapes for this one. So I've simply positioned some tape on my white cardstock, and then I've got my die set here, and you can see the variety of designs that you've got in here. I like how each of these are grouped so you know which ones go together. You can use these shapes individually, of course, and you can layer them up one on top of the other. I'll flip this over and you can see that there's also a beautiful card design on here from Leebee. So there's always some inspiration. So here I've added my washi tape onto my cardstock, and then from here I'll just simply grab my die, flip it over, position it down again, secure it with some of that hunky-dory low-tack tape, and then run it through my die cutting machine. Now I have to say I do tend to squeeze pieces together. I want to make sure that I'm getting every little bit of that washi covered cardstock, and then you can layer up your images from there. And again, this won't gum up your cutting dies or your machine, which is really nice. And then when you're done, of course, you can just pop this back onto the sheet. Now, when you're adhering your pieces together, I've got 2 of these flowers here, the large and the small, or the top and the bottom, and you can simply use your adhesive to position those together in whatever layering combination you want. Let's see, let's turn this around like so. And then you can also add the top layer with some foam tape if you want to. Now with mine, I've got lots of layers of foam tape under here because I've got some overlapping flowers. I've die cut the centers from plain white cardstock, and then also the center focal areas of each of those flowers from some of that extra space on my washi covered cardstock. Now, when you're talking about what kind of cardstock to use, you don't want to have something that is a super thick weight, but something that is sturdy enough to hold up that washi tape. Hunky Dory has some of this stamping cardstock that works beautifully. Then I've also got my flower cluster. I've got my leaves die cut just from plain white cardstock, and I've got a really pretty border here of some more washi tape going across the bottom. The pattern paper that I've got here on the front is from the Wildflowers and Wildlife paper pack. And then I've got, of course, my Sending Smiles Dazzle just right underneath. Then on the card inside, I have another strip of washi tape. You can see how nicely these work just as a simple border accent like in our first card. I have another layered washi floral accent with some white leaves on there. And then you'll have a look at that grateful, thankful gold dazzle sentiment for the inside. Now I do need to point out with our Windflowers die set, one of my favorites, Paulette let me know that this die set is low in stock. So if you've had your eye on it, now would be a good time to grab those dies. Again, full of 15 different cutting dies. You've got the layering florals, you've got the centers, and you've got your botanical accents in there as well. Our final card project features a really fun sort of abstract collection of different washi tapes, all combined and all with the patterns going in lots of different directions. This sounds a little confusing, so let me show you how I've started and take you through the process here. So I'm working with the Roses washi tapes, and I've applied many different designs onto one piece of white cardstock. So I've been talking a bit about the cardstock I'm using today, and this is the Hunky Dory Lightweight Essential Card Block. This is what I've been using, and it's what I use for stamping and die cutting projects. It's a really great basic to have in your toolbox. And in this case, I've adhered the washi tapes, nesting them right up against one another. There's no space in between, but I've applied some going this direction and I've got some going this direction. You can go in all different directions just depending on what you're feeling like. This can be used as a background as it is. You can also, though, cut this apart into strips. So because I've got my tapes going in lots of different directions, if I just grab my paper trimmer and position this in here, pop this down. Now I can measure out the different widths, or I can kind of eyeball it if I want to, and simply cut these so that I've got a variety of different styles and directions here, and then continue to go and cut out the rest of those strips from the rest of this sheet. And then from here, I can glue these onto another separate piece of white cardstock. And what you can do is turn these around so the patterns don't read the same as they did before. You can interrupt the design, you can coordinate different widths on here. So you'll simply glue these down onto another piece of cardstock, and you can leave some space in between as I've done here. And in this case, I've filled the space in between with more border dazzles. And in this case, I've got this really nice kind of oval shape that I'm using. On this dazzle sheet, you've got the sort of positive and negative. So you've got the ovals, and then you've got this diamond design that you could use as well. So I've simply positioned those in between each of those strips. And then I've glued the entire piece onto the front of my square card. And I've first covered the front of my card with pattern paper from the Flower Queen paper pack. And then, of course, I've got the Just For You script dazzle down at the bottom. Now, on the inside, you can see more of those washi strips positioned at an angle and trimmed off at an angle as well. And then also with some of those gold borders in between. And then I've got another grateful, thankful, blessed dazzle and a little heart to finish the look. And this is our final project of the day today. So a big thank you to you for joining me today, and a special thanks to Leebee for these gorgeous washi tapes. I had a lot of fun working with them. We're really glad that you are here today. We are so happy that you're a part of our Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately and you can see them below. We've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. So for that money saver, just see the webisode on paperwishes.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It does help people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.